More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been patient.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brandy.
And welcome back to the What They Never Told Us podcast. That felt so good. That felt so good to say.
Did it?
It really did. They say you never miss your water till your well run dry.
It ain't even been that long.
It has been that long.
It's funny because we never plan our breaks. Like, it just is more of a feel. I think in the first couple of seasons we were like, let's do about 10 to 12 episodes. This time we did like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And then we just decided, you know what, we're done. And we don't know when we're coming back. So
look, much needed though. I definitely needed the break. And I think we both felt that. That's where we're just like, it's time. It's time.
Yeah. After so many episodes, you just get tired of hearing yourself talk. And I was like, all right, like, it's got to end at some point.
See, that's not my experience. I really enjoy hearing myself talk.
Yeah, I can tell.
See, I think the alley-oop there.
I can tell.
This is good podcasting right there. Go and get me. I'll let you get this one. Nah, I really just, yeah, it especially, and a lot of people don't know kind of all what it takes to keep this, thing rolling. And it's a lot of working parts, a lot of moving parts. So sometimes it becomes so much of like a part of your routine. You forget to like live and do things and be in a relationship. And, like, it's more than just a business. And I feel
Absolutely.
like towards the end of last season, I just felt like my life was the podcast.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
It's not only just the time that we record, then the time that we go live. It's the editing. It's the posting. It's the answering questions, responding to emails. Like, it's all of that. So we took a much needed break, but we back. Y'all welcome. We decided to come back and do it again. So we are here, and it happens to be our anniversary.
Ooh. Do you know what today is?
So right about this time, 1 year ago, we were taking pictures after our ceremony and on our way to Detroit to eat dinner and then fly out to sunny California. And in that time, we honeymooned, we lived, we raised kids, we started businesses, we've released some music.
Yeah,
and
kind of rushing ahead. You like really zooming past this. Take your time with it. Take it. No, we really do. You got to be here for about an hour. So the time off, the time away from the podcast, kind of what was that time for you? What's been going on with you for all the people that are listening? Who are like, yo, what's Brandy been up to? What's been going on?
Hey, I ain't been doing nothing. I've been enjoying the time off. We've had a couple of engagements that we've had to be a part of. But other than that, like, I've really just been enjoying being a wife and a mom. Like, this time away from podcasting is really the time where I just like to relax. So I was trying not to fill it with too much stuff. I think for 1 second I got caught up in like, I'm not doing anything. Like, you had stuff going on, and I kind of felt like I should be doing something. But I think I know God has confirmed for me that in this season, I'm really pouring into my family, and the things that I already have on my plate are my priority. So
can I tell you something, just as someone who's had a front row seat on your life, that I'm just really like super proud of you about?
What's that? You
have been in your bag with your word. Like, when I say discipline, I'm just all enthralled at how militant isn't the word, but you're really diligent about making sure that you're doing your study time, and you've been in your bag hours at a time in there with a notebook, like really looking at every nook and cranny of God's word. And it's really inspiring to me. I've never said this to you, but in one way that you've always ministered to me since our relationship in our adult life is just how you live in front of me. And it's not changed. It's not changed. It's so inspiring to me. And I thank you for that. You've really taken this time to just be like, I'm in my bag. God, what do you want with me? What does your word say?
Absolutely.
Okay, that one sentence that nobody paid attention to. Let me break that down real quick. Like, it's really dope. So I'm gonna give you a round of applause. There you go. Really dope.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I think one of the ways that the enemy tries to attack and trick us is to always make us feel like we're not doing enough, right? Mm-hmm. We're not praying enough. We're not reading enough. We're not seeking God enough. And that it's a punishment for that, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to lie and say that the first time that I picked it up in the season was like, oh, I feel so inspired to read God's word. It was more out of like, oh my God, I am just not doing enough. But then still taking those fears and those frustrations to God and letting him lead me again. He's like, nah, like you're right where I need you. Yeah. And whatever way you got here, I'm glad you're here. Now let me talk to you. And Absolutely. He's been doing that. And so this time has been so fulfilling to me. And what I have to figure out is how to manage both.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know you're going to figure out there's nothing else I know about you.
I know what comes first. So if y'all don't see me sitting here.
Got your priorities straight.
If y'all don't see me sitting here, you know what I'm doing. Look, she couldn't come today. She had to study, so it's just me.
That part. I love it.
What about you? What you been up to?
I've been back in the studio.
You couldn't wait to say it.
Oh my God. Well, we talked about the end of the season, and I think in my mind I had all aspirations of doing it. I don't think I knew how it was going to pan out, what it was going to look like. So to be on the other side of it, you know more than anybody how much this is my roadblock. Having the idea and seeing it through to completion is one of them things that I always get in my head about.
Yeah.
And same process, like before the creative process, man, it's stupid. This song's dumb, whatever. Like, just the enemy talking to me. So I'm really glad I came on the other side of it. So that's been really dope. It's been really great getting back in the swing of that. So yeah, absolutely.
Are you happy that you put out your song?
Very happy. Very happy.
Tell everybody what your song is called, where they can find it. Come on, use this moment to big yourself up.
If you haven't heard, okay, broke the top 100 in the gospel charts on iTunes. Okay, Gig is out on all platforms. Gig, it's a acronym for God is Good. It's on all platforms. You just type in Russell, RUSSEOL space IV space GIG, and I'll be there. You can buy it. That's what we really want. 69 cents. Buy that thing, okay? 69 cents. You're not gonna find nothing that cheap in this day and age, okay? 69 cents on iTunes, on Amazon, and wherever else you can buy music. And if you don't want to do that, then just stream it. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Music, stream it, add it to your playlist, work out to it. It's a really fun song, and it says something that I believe to be true, that we believe to be true, and that is that God is good. He don't know how to be nothing but that.
Amen.
So, yeah, thank you. Shameless plug.
We're going to work on your promo skills, but yeah, go find Gig.
That was bad? That was bad? Hey, your new song dropping.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Go find Gig on all platforms. He'll edit in a little screenshot of what it looks like.
I don't like you making new work for me.
Listen, I'm telling you what you're going to do.
Now, when I film a commercial, that cuts in the middle of the episode. Hey, want to know what I think about God?
And we'll link the links to Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music in the description of the podcast so that you don't even have to search. You can just click the link if you're already here and get my baby song.
Very much so. Other than that, we've been living life. We just got back from 2 vacations back to back, whole lot of road tripping. It was a lot of work, but also was a lot of fun. Was very much so rewarding. Went down to Memphis for our anniversary. First time really getting a chance to see that city like that. It was your first time in Memphis as well, right?
Absolutely.
Really dope city. If anybody who's listening from Memphis, man, I am so jealous that y'all just get to live there and eat like that all the time. That's crazy.
Well, first of all, I think we found out when we were in Memphis that we have 0 listeners in Memphis. So like our Nashville, Chattanooga.
That's not true. No, that was wrong. I was looking at the last 7 days. That's why I didn't see anybody from Memphis. But There are people that listen
There
from
are.
Memphis. Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
if you're listening, you one of our Memphis listeners. Shout out to
I
you.
was like, somebody got to get WTNTU into Memphis. 'Cause this is crazy. How we touch every other major city in the United States and they walk through Memphis.
We touched down in Memphis.
Somebody gonna look us up though, because I definitely was wearing WTNTU gear while we were in Memphis.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I have it on today.
Whoop.
Another little shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Have a Shopify store. It's WTNTU.myshopify.com, and you can go and get all of the WTNTU merch that is there. We have hoodies and t-shirts so far, and coffee mugs.
Yes.
So shout out to everybody that's ordered some so far. I love hearing that little ding on my phone when somebody done placed the order. I'm like, oh, who was that? What they get?
Show the logo, babe.
I don't know if you can see it real good, but BM, there we go.
You're irritated.
If you're on the audio, you just missed a fire dance move. I learned that from Janet Jackson.
That was it. It did it for me. I'm here for it.
But yeah, so we will be adding more merch to that. We're going to kind of branch out a little bit into just some cool t-shirt designs that we have. So if you want to get some logo wear or just be on the lookout for the other designs, we will keep you updated on when those are available. But logo wear is available now. Go get it.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to commemorate our anniversary and season 4 kicking off, I'm just going to put a little discount code out there.
Shut up.
I don't know what it is yet. You're going to have to go to the site and check it out. But I'm going to put a discount code up there so you can get a little free shipping or something off your merch.
Come
okay.
on. Look at God.
You're welcome.
You're being generous. Loving on the people. That's all right. I was going to ask you our first road trip together. How was it? How was the experience? Some people can't be in the car that long together.
That was not our first road trip together.
9 hours together?
10, but
alone. Okay. Alone. We've road trip together, but your mama was there, your brother, and somebody. It's always been somebody with us.
No, we drove down by ourselves to Columbus.
No, that's far as that don't count. That don't count. That's easy. That's lightweight.
This was our longest road trip together. Let's say that. And it was cool. But you know what? One thing I learned is we can't listen to the podcast. We can't listen to our podcast together. Why? Because it always sparks a debate that probably didn't need to have.
The biggest debate we had.
You remember what you said right there?
Biggest debate we had wasn't even from listening to our own podcast.
It
was someone else's podcast. We got to talking. It was good conversation though. It was good conversation.
Always, but no. I think that we balance each other out well on the road. It can't be two people who's just like really anxious, or two people who are laid back, because then it's just boring. Like, I think it's a good mix of like, hey, I need to talk. You gonna talk to me right now? Or you know what? We just need a moment of silence, and we respect each other in those moments. You respect my bathroom break usage. So I think it was good. It was fun. It didn't seem like 10 hours to me. It went really quickly. And
it was smooth.
We didn't kill each other.
No, we didn't. We survived it, and we survived it with 5 kids going to Chicago. So
yeah, I don't know about that. Now, I don't like that aspect of it.
No, we survived.
We don't never have to do that ever again.
It'll have to happen again, but we've shown that we can survive it. We came out on the other side.
I think that's all we needed to prove to ourselves, is like that we can be in the car with 5 children of all varying ages and still find time to love and respect each other and not kill one of them.
Nah, it wasn't the kids. It was Chicago. I got beef with y'all. If y'all listening from Chicago, I love y'all. But really, like, everything costs there.
Well, there's downtown Chicago.
Yes, downtown Chicago. Everything costs. There's a breathing tax. There was a tax on breathing.
There's a tax to enter, a tax to leave, a tax to park.
Oh, my God. I said, parking is just as much as to eat.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
More.
This is beyond me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good time. Definitely, I had to think about it. It was definitely worth the investment. We was in church today, and the pastor came up, and while he was preaching, looked me dead in my eye, and he was talking about fatherhood and how, like, sometimes, you just got to bear the weight. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I was stressed. I'm thinking like, I got stuff I got to do. I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about the bills. I can't just be in Chicago. I'm thinking about what we got to do when we get back from Chicago, and everything was just stressing me out so much. And when he came, looked me in my eye and was like, sometimes you just got to bear it. And it's the journey, like it made me realize, what, it's worth what
it costs.
It's worth what it costs. So that was really dope. So that's what we've been doing during this time. During the last week, and also, during the time that we've been off from the podcast. I hope your time away from us and, in between seasons has been blessed, and that, not only are your personal endeavors going well, I hope relationally and in your marriages and in your relationships and even in your singlehood, that all is going well.
We forgot something. One thing that has happened while we were on break is the influx of new people on our social media. Not just Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram and YouTube. We've got new subscribers, we've got new followers, new people who have engaged with us, people who have bought from us that we don't know personally. So in that time, we didn't fall off completely. So I really took on the task of growing or really feeding into our social media presence. So if you are somebody that has found us within the last 3 months, shout out to you. What up, though?
Shout out to y'all.
In my best Detroit accent. What up, though? Because I think I would say we've amassed over 10,000 followers across all platforms in just the 2.5 months that we've been gone. So it's been really, really dope to see new people come in and engage. We have one post that we posted 3 weeks ago, and every time I log on to Instagram, it's 100 new likes, 50,000 new comments. Not that many, really. I'm just playing, but it feels like it's so much so that I've just stopped responding to them.
Absolutely. If you found us by way of social media and it's you're new to the platform, we want you to know that a big part of the experience of What They Never Told Us is the community presence, right? It's not just a podcast where you sit down and listen to us talk. It's a community where we engage with one another, okay? This is our 1-year marriage anniversary, okay? 1 year. So this podcast isn't, hey, let us tell you what's the right way to do things. That's never been our approach, because if you've listened to us enough, you'll know we still try to figure some of this stuff out, and we just do it in front of y'all and we work it out together,
or in the car on road trip.
You know what I'm saying? So honestly, it's about community, and a big part of the experience is our lives that we do every Wednesday. Those are available on YouTube, on our platform over there. If you're not following the shameless plug, subscribe to us on YouTube and on our Facebook page. Right now, our Facebook page is our main source of engagement. So if you're looking to kick it with our followers, looking to engage with us and be involved in the conversation, come join us live on Wednesdays, Eastern Standard Time at 8:30 p.m. ish, heavy on the ish, because we got kids and businesses and things of that nature. So yes, that goes on every Wednesday.
Yeah, so if you just found the podcast and maybe you've listened to a couple of episodes, any episode that's titled Episode Kickback is what Russell is talking about. So we do post those episodes, but if you want to engage live in real time, discuss the episode or just random stuff that's on your mind, because we always go with the idea that we're going to discuss the episode, but inevitably something else comes up and we go on a whole tangent about something that somebody in the comments brought up. So it's a good time. Most of the people in there have become friends just by being on our platform. Like, a lot of us don't know each other, but we consider each other family, friends, because we have real authentic conversations and really get to know and care about each other. So if you want to be a part of that, come on and join us on the live. It's pretty fun.
Absolutely. And like she said, if you can't make it, Thursday we'll be posting the episodes on podcast streaming platforms. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff, Amazon. You can check it out then. So, all right. We've gotten through a lot of the business of podcasting. Now let's get out to nitty gritty. Like we said before, this is our 1-year anniversary. So it's more of a reflective moment, right? We were all day asking each other questions like, what moment stood out to you the most? Or like, what's something that you learned? And honestly, those are tough questions to answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I think that obviously hindsight is 2020, and it does give you a good opportunity to reflect on, your relationship from time to time. So this is just because it's our anniversary. It's not the first time that we've ever asked each other these questions, but holds a little bit more weight, at least for me, because in my past relationship, my past marriage, within the first year, things quickly were deteriorating. So I was only really technically married 3 years, but we only together for 2. That last year we were separated, going through a divorce. So for me, the feeling that I have now after officially ending the first year of marriage is really significant because I remember not feeling this good after 1 year. I remember feeling like, is this really what it's supposed to be like? And is this what it's going to be like for the rest of my life? And feeling really scared, feeling really anxious, and feeling like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. So I'm trying not to get emotional, which I feel it coming in. I'm not sure why. Being in a new relationship, in a new marriage, knowing all the things that can go wrong in that year, which is supposed to be the really happy time in your marriage, right? Like, we're getting to know each other, we're learning how to live together, and all these, experiencing all these new firsts. That's what the first year of your relationship should feel like. And for me, having a quote unquote do-over and getting an opportunity to really experience what it feels like to be loved and to be happy about the decision that you made and the person that you chose and the person that chose you. It's really dope. And I'm really thankful and grateful that God allowed me to have a second chance and to have that with you.
That's dope. God's the God of the do-over. Take the test again. You failed once.
Like, you know what? Forget that. All right, let's start anew.
Let's scratch that. Now, clearly, here's some areas we need to work on, but let's try it again. Let me hook you up. Yeah. My experience is a little different, of course, but the feeling's the same. Absolutely. Like, I think that my first go around, the experience or the joy that I had was in part due to like just avoiding the difficult conversations. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if it don't feel good, we ain't gonna talk about it. If it's something we don't agree on, dislike, we're just gonna completely ignore it altogether. So if I did feel good, it's because I was just ignoring all the things that need to be said. Whereas this time around, it's the work. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like how I felt about, these road trips we was going on. You come ask me, well, what are you most looking forward to? And I was like, man, like, I want a road trip with you. Like, I want to stop at the gas station. I want to find chips that I ain't seen in our city. Like, I want to, like, laugh with you in the car. And there's a parallel there in terms of our relationship. It's the journey. Like, it's the honeymoon was dope. Like, the sex is bomb. Like, I laugh with you. All of that is great. But when I look at our journey, it is the journey. It's the totality of everything. It's the where we started at, who we were way back in the day, the who we are now, the how did we get here? like how, we married and just figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? The challenges, like, I'm really in love with the process, and that excites me the most because I've always been the type of person that I just love the highlight reel. I'm searching for the mountaintop moments. I want these feelings. I want to feel good. And that's great. Everybody want to feel good, but it's dangerous because life isn't about the feel good moments, right? Yeah. And if you're constantly looking for that, when it doesn't come, you're not going to be happy. You can't be happy unless you have these big things that happen. And with this, I'm so in love with the figuring it out. I'm so in love with the feeling of when we have a difficult conversation, when we get on the other side of it, right? When we wake up the next morning and we still can kiss each other and say, I love you. Even though the night before it was like, just, you know what I'm saying? That, to me, I find so much joy, peace, and contentment in that. Like, it's new for me. It's a new experience for me. And it excites me.
Yeah, I can agree. I think I've always been the person where like just the everyday is enough for me, right? But the fact that the everyday is not just normal, right?
Yeah.
Like we could just be sitting on the couch and playing with the kids or going to the grocery store, but there's so much fun in that stuff. Like the normal stuff meant to me, okay, we're good. We can still function with each other. But when I can still laugh and feel tingly inside when we're joking around with each other and just feel playful and want to do the everyday things with you, I think that's where I get a lot of excitement from. And I remember, well, not remember, but I think we have, and I'm having more of these moments where I'm just stopping and being like, hey, yo, we're married.
I do that a lot. Like, yo, this crazy.
Like, wait a minute. Like, it's really you. Like,
That's crazy.
So, just still have those moments. I mean, because we've been married a year, but we've been together 3 now, almost 3.
Yeah.
And at some point, I used to think that wasn't going to last forever. And when we were listening to the episode in the car, we were kind of talking about that. Does the honeymoon phase last forever?
Yeah.
And I think what we settled on was no, it doesn't. But those feelings that you generate in the honeymoon phase, they can last forever. You might have to find new ways to cultivate them, but those feelings can last forever.
Absolutely.
And so the journey of finding and understanding how to make those moments last forever has been really dope.
What excites you at this chapter of our life, like at this point in marriage, like sexually, you know the positions, right? Like,
well, no, because
hey, once in a while, throw a little curveball, you know, like let's try this. But like, for the most part, right? Like, what part excites you? Like, what still excites you at this point?
I do think it's the everyday stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie, it is literally like I get excited thinking about when he comes home. Like, what are we gonna watch on TV? Like,
hey, that's underrated. That's underrated. Finding a series, you find a show that's been out since 2019, got about 5 seasons. What?
We don't like binge watch maybe 2 days ago, and we ain't got to get back to it.
Come on.
I am so excited to be like, oh, we don't got nothing to do
Don't
today.
let the kids not be here. Oh,
we get to watch the magicians.
We about to go in. It's about to be crazy.
So yeah, that type of stuff. I think, well, I'm trying to work on stop saying I think when I really know what I want to say.
All right.
So catch me.
I'll try.
When we were married to other people, we ran into each other in a very specific place. And it happens to be one of our favorite places that we love to go to together.
Oh, yeah.
So they ain't giving us no money, so I ain't saying their name. But anyway.
You felt that. You felt that thing. All right.
But every time we go there, every single time we go there, it just feels significant to me.
It's relationship avu.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just made that up right there on the spot. Huh?
Freestyle. It was terrible.
Horrible.
It was awful. Relationship avu. Nah, but that's, yeah, of course, terrible word. But
doesn't even describe what it is.
But no, that's what it feels like to me. Like, it makes me realize, wow, we're married.
Yeah.
Because I'm warped right back
you
to that moment.
Are literally taken right back.
I'm taking right back to that moment when I was standing in line. I turned around, and I saw you, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Brandy." You know what I'm saying? And we were just in such different places, in different places of life, and to come back to that same place and we're there together is so significant to me.
It really
we're there together intentionally.
It really is.
And yeah, it's weird.
I think that taking us back to that place, like I think the last time that we were in there, I was like, I remember staring at this sign, trying to avoid making eye contact with you because it was weird. Like at that time, there was no
connection,
none whatsoever. It wasn't like, oh my God, that's Russell.
So,
you know,
I felt that. I probably was alone in that. I definitely was like, oh God, it's Brandy.
You were definitely alone in that, but that's okay.
It's all right.
I mean, I'm gonna speak for myself. I didn't feel like, oh, there's still something there.
Not to feel that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, that's the one that got away, or any of that.
You definitely said that.
No, I didn't say that. I was like, oh my God, let me hurry up and get this food so I can go back to work. But like you said, to go now in the narrative is completely different. Like, it just feels special.
Yeah.
And when we go there, it excites me.
Same. Absolutely. So, yeah. It's crazy that we're here together. It's crazy that we're married. But the more it becomes normal, the more it excites me.
The more it becomes normal.
Yeah. Like,
I haven't got there yet. It's still not normal to me.
It's mostly normal to me, and every once in a while it hit me like, oh shoot, I'm married Brandy. This is crazy. But yeah. So for those of you guys who are listening to us, one of the biggest, like, I think, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but one of the main themes of how we get across information on this podcast is just lifting principles from our story and hoping that it connects with your personal story, right? So for those of you guys who are new to the platform, maybe you just come on this season, maybe haven't had a chance to listen. Our story is we were boyfriend and girlfriend back in middle school, 1997. It was 97, 98. That was a school year. 7, 8. 98, 99.
Yes.
Well, that's when we started dating.
Baby, it's not that specific. We do not have, it does not matter.
That's when we started dating.
It was in the late 90s.
But I met you in 7th grade in 97, 98. So look, you're stepping all over my story. Anyway, that's when we met. And we dated on and off all through middle school, high school. And after that, story just kind of separated. And for us to kind of find ourselves back together is, it's still a little weird, which is why it's kind of like, wow, I can't believe, we're married. It's kind of crazy.
It reminds me of something that the pastor said today at church when he was talking about God doing a miracle versus like the journey, right? It would have been probably just as amazing, I'm going to say, if after high school we stayed together and we've been married this whole time and we have children and, whatever life we'd be 20 years married right now or whatever.
We'd be divorced by now.
Could be.
I had some stuff I had to learn before we got to this point. Okay.
But that's the point that I was going to make. He also said, God can do a miracle in any situation, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes he has to take you through the journey, and it's the process in which he makes you so that your testimony can speak to the people that you were called to. Mm-hmm. And I believe that wholeheartedly that it represents our relationship, right? We had the opportunity to be together 20 years ago and could have made whatever out of that. But God needed us to go through a process. Mm-hmm. He needed us both to be refined and to be changed and to experience certain things so that when we got together, we knew how to love each other well, number one, how to serve him together, because back then we were on two completely different paths, and then how to use what we had been through to speak to the hearts and the minds of those that we were called to. And in church, I wasn't even thinking of it like that. But when you just were talking, it just took me back to that moment. Like, this is the physical manifestation of God taking us through that process.
Absolutely.
Of refining us, of changing us, of growing us, shaping us, molding us so that we could sit here today and speak from a place of two divorced people who had the opportunity to find love again. And it's really special. It feels really important. It feels really significant. And it feels very godly.
Absolutely. This is a prime example. I had someone who I'm close to, I won't say by name, but he called he called me while we were in Memphis. And he was like, man, how's it been? I said, man, it's been a blessing, man. Like we're just having a blast. Like, and I said something to the effect of like, man, we just have fun wherever we go. And he said, man, you just got the right person for it, man. Like when you with somebody like that, you know, like of course, like it's always going to be a blessing. And I had to like not check him, but I had to give him some perspective because this is somebody I'm close with.
Right.
I know his story. I know he was saying, I don't got that. You know, you got that because it's who you with. And I said, well, if you only look at the highlight reel, I'm pretty sure you would think that, right? Like no relationship is exempt of challenges. So from your perspective, if every time you see me and my wife, it's us laughing or having a funny moment that we posted on social media or us having intelligent, insightful conversation on the podcast, I ain't pulling out my phone to record us when we having an attitude with one another.
Wouldn't be a good look.
I'm not recording and posting the moments when me and her are having a conversation that we can't get on the same page with, when I'm frustrated, when I go to bed in the night. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't see those moments. So if you only judge it on that, of course you're going to think that life is just, but this is what worries me about this generation of social media as a whole, because especially this podcast has kind of put us in a space now to where, you know, people want to talk to us about relationships. People that are in our lives, like, man, what do you think about this? Can I talk to you about this? And this is what's scary right now. And it's more so heightened for kids that grew up with it. If you my age, we the old heads now, you know what I'm saying? If you in your 30s, 40s,
auntie and uncle.
we didn't always have this cell phone. We didn't always have the social media thing. But for kids who grew up and this is all they know, they have a skewed perspective of what a thing looks like because the view that they see it from is not a complete picture. Everyone is posting their highlight reel. Everybody is posting their best moments. And if you're not careful, you think that that's what real love looks like. But it's an incomplete picture because every moment in between that picture is a difficult conversation, is us trying to figure it out, is humbling yourself. Sometimes being like, you know what, I was wrong. Even though sometimes you might not think you was wrong. But sometimes you just got to humble yourself and be like, you know what, I can see I hurt you. I can see that how I approached this was wrong. Heard this today in church and it's so true. I believe it to be true. And it was just confirmation that the more and more I learn about love and the more I learn about relationship in any capacity, it is service. It is servitude. It's not easy. It's not easy. We had a conversation the other day and it's kind of talking to what we were talking about in the car, right? Like, we're talking about the roles of a man and a woman, and we're talking about this idea of submission. And it's such a hard thing to wrap your mind around because anytime we think about submission or anytime we think about roles and things like that, it almost feels like hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? And even me, you know what I'm saying? I've been good through that too. Like when I talk about it, hierarchy, a placement of what's higher and what's lower, when all of it, regardless of what role you play, you are in a position of service. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether like you're in a position of service. If I say I love you, that means I serve you. And most people don't want to do that. And that's why it fails.
Service and sacrifice. I think those two go hand in hand. If any time we talk about submission and we talk about service, like it's unto one another as unto the Lord, right? It's not me serving him and he does nothing, or him serving me and I'm just a princess here on the pedestal. Like, nah, we are in service to one another, and him as the head of our family, ultimately, like he's in service to everybody here. Absolutely. Right? And when you have a man who leads in that fashion, it's easy to follow, and it's easy to see that submission is not making you an indentured servant to somebody. Like, it's just making you in service to somebody so that your whole system works well together. you can't have too many chiefs and not enough Indians in anything, especially in a relationship. So if I am serving you in the capacity to advise you, to help you, to grow you, to inspire you, so that then you are in service to have this family go to every place that God has called us to go to.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works. It's an ecosystem, just like any other. The family structure is an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And when it works well, when people are working in service to each other, when people are submitted to something higher than themselves, it is an unstoppable force. And that's what we're trying to create.
Yeah. And I had to really, and this is within the last week, even in today, like hearing that today, I had to really check myself, because even in my mind, I know that, like, this idea of service and submission, and a leader is a servant. A leader is not based on how many people serve him, but how many people he serves. Like, these are things I know and believe, but checking myself that believing it and having it actually guide my thoughts and the execution of how I lead has been a completely different thing. I had to check myself, like, yo, you're not living out what you say you believe, right? Because I learned that I'm grieving this idea in my head of what a man is, right? So my old experience was, right, when I come home, oh, daddy's here. Kids run up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it made me feel good. It made me feel like this presence I have in the household is like this loved and revered thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I had to grieve that because my situation was different in this. And this is, you know, a word and really a dope conversation for anybody who's blending families, anybody who is moving from a old family unit and you're creating a new one in a new relationship. You have to abandon what was, because it ain't gonna be what it was, right? So, for instance, these kids got a dad. You know what I'm saying? They are not in lack,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even though there's a rapport in a relationship, I have to check myself. Who do you think you are that you deserve that, right? Because it's not their job to serve you. It's your job to serve them. So if he wake up and don't say good morning,
it's still good morning.
It's still good morning.
How
still
you doing?
Say good morning. How you doing? But I can't get mad. Like, how dare you don't say good morning to me? I can't get mad. Like, oh, you ain't gonna say hi when I come through the door. No, because your position in this house is not one where you step into a position so you get poured into. No, you step in this position to pour out. And I just had to check myself. It's been a week-long thing that God's been slowly like, okay, I know I can't hit you with this all at once. Let me just slowly peel this thing back. And it started with that conversation you ain't like. But those be necessary for me. Yeah.
I think, I mean, I've had that same kind of realization because I talk about submission, and I know that it is completely the goal that I have. We've talked about it even before we got married, and I want you to feel like you are the head of this family, and that, you know, we help you as you help us. And I get a little, I don't need no help, I'ma do it. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, it feeds that. That's the type of person you are. You're a doer. You like to serve people, blah, 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 all these things that I tell myself. But in actuality, it's like you might be overstepping a little bit, and you might be creating a narrative in your household that doesn't fit what you're saying with your mouth. Because I can say, yes, I want you to lead me, but where am I creating the space to be led? Yeah. And the conversation, we were listening to the ARMA podcast, so shout out to them, because they are a very dope podcast led by two ministers or pastors.
They're pastors. Yeah, they're not head senior pastors, but they're pastors of Social Dallas and Elevation Church. It's Will and Manny.
Very, very dope podcast.
Yeah.
Very informative. But they were talking about submission, and I ain't gonna lie, we did a whole episode on submission.
Thought we was real versed. We was spitting on that
I
episode.
was like, look, we got this down pat. You know, we have our little bumps, but everybody do.
Yeah.
Right. But to hear them talk about submission,
Yeah.
and really to see it modeled out in how it plays in their relationships and how you take what you believe and actually put it into work. Because
Yeah.
it's cool if you believe it. Like, I believe everything that I said on that episode
For sure. Me too.
wholeheartedly. But do
Wasn't
I
walking
walk
it
it
out.
out every day?
I won't walking it out like I need to walk it out.
Probably
though.
not.
Yeah.
And so hearing, I think it probably did the same thing that people listening to us on the submission episode were like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Oh, that's right. That's what I was getting in that car. And it was starting to make me feel real uncomfortable. Like, ooh, so that's what, oh, shoot. I think I messed up. Like, I know I said that, but what I said and what I do every day, and man, again, today at church, the pastor said,
Yeah.
you know, if what you say does not match what you do, it's a lie.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
I'm telling you.
it's a bunch of stuff that I say and that I really believe, but I don't do.
Yeah.
And if I'm saying it and I'm not doing it, it's what I'm saying is a lie.
And those be the words, even with the podcast, like that I've learned to really appreciate. Like, that's what I go to church for.
Yeah.
That's what I go to church for. Sharpen me.
Yes.
It ain't gonna feel good, but that conviction, like when something's like, I hear you, God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff. Those are the marching orders that shift your entire life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's this tug of war, man, that I think every human being in existence wrestles with, right? Like, it's feeling versus fulfillment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we all want to, like we were just talking about, everybody wants to feel good, have these moments that feel good, but not everything that feels good necessarily fulfills us.
Yeah.
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like, all of the dope things are tucked behind the things that don't feel good, right? Like, I believe that if you eat vegetables, you work out, you're going to be healthy. Now, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though I believe that, I'm still attached to the feeling I get when I bite into some fried chicken.
Yeah.
When I bite
Unmatched.
it is unmatched. Like, I know,
If we're being honest.
I believe that when you drink water like in the recommended dosage, that it does wonders for your body. But the feeling that I get when I drink a Red Bull and I'm like, whoo,
Water don't do that.
we here now. It's a party now. Like, it's the feeling that I'm attached to.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk to someone who detaches from the feel good of food or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they fall in love with the fulfillment of fighting through, like, you talk to someone who's in their fitness bag, it's the fulfillment of that process that they fall in love with. And I think that in general, that tug of war is what follows us throughout our marriages, our walk with God, all of it. It's not just settling for what feels good,
Absolutely.
but it's the fulfillment of following what is inherently good for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I see that reflected in our marriage so much because there are so many times where I know that I'm right. Like,
Yeah.
in my whole spirit. I'm like, he wrong. Like, he wrong. And I just want to argue him
Why you
down.
saying wrong like
wrong?
that? He
'Cause
wrong.
that's how wrong you be. Loud and wrong.
I can't recall that ever. I don't know what you're talking about.
And the type of personality that I have, it
Yeah.
feels really good to prove people wrong.
We need to pause there because this is where we're so similar.
Yes,
And it is grounds for a nuclear explosion.
absolutely.
And we have to completely abandon that.
Yes, we have to manage it.
Yeah, because
And-
I want to prove you wrong. Then I want to sit. I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, huh? What happened? No. What did Google say? Nah. Read it again. Yeah, you gonna say yeah? Like I want to
Yeah, it's
sit
gonna
there for a
keep going.
minute.
It's
I want to
gonna
rub
keep
it
going.
in. Yeah.
And I've learned, and still in the process of learning, that making you feel bad about being wrong should not make me feel good.
Yeah.
And when I detach from that need to make you feel bad about being wrong, it makes me want to argue less that point. Like, okay, that's how you feel. And this is not like we can argue back and forth about facts like the earth is round or dinosaurs didn't exist, like things like that. But when it comes to how we're going to run our family, what decision we're going to make in our finances, what's the next move on where we're going to live and things like that. And I feel like I have to prove you wrong based on what you think. It is disastrous for our relationship.
Any relationship.
Because now that's the end goal. The end goal is not to find the best place to move for our family, to make the best decision for our finances, to make the best decision for our kids. The goal is just to prove each other wrong. That is a horrible cycle to be in. And I had to detach from that feeling, that fulfillment that I get that I'm right in this. I'm making the right decision. I've been making the right decision for 18 years.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just come in and now you know what's best for him. You know, really hearing your perspective.
Yeah.
Really seeing that even if it's the way that I've been doing it for 18 years, is there another way to do it? Because when you're the only voice, it's easy to believe that you're right all the time.
I need a new button. I need a new button that says something like, ooh, like something. New sounds coming soon, because I wish I had a button there. Because you're spitting. You're spitting.
And what I had to learn is like, yeah, now there's another voice. And that other voice can also be right. And y'all both can be right at the same time.
Yeah.
Who do you want to fight to see who's more right? Or do you just want to fall back and let it play out a different way?
Yeah.
Because I trust in my heart that you would never make a decision that would steer us wrong.
Yeah.
So even if I believe that I'm right, there's a good chance that you are also right. And to me, the process has been learning to let go of that fulfillment that comes with, I have the right answer.
Yeah.
And no other answer can be right.
Yeah. And that's a word that I think we need to sit in for a minute, because there's somebody who's listening to us right now who has been scarred so much relationally. And I'm not even talking about just romantically. I'm talking about from a parent that failed you, from a friendship that's betrayed you, from a marriage, like just relationally, you were scarred so much that you've found so much solace in your isolation. You've gotten so much peace from being detached from people. You've actually convinced yourself that you don't need people. Like, I don't need nobody. I'm good all by myself. And even though it's comfortable there, right? What you said in that one sentence about it's easy to think you're right
When you're
the only voice is so heavy, because there's so much wisdom that we get when we measure our decision making with the sound judgment of someone who truly loves us in any capacity. That's why it's so valuable, which is why, you know, we've echoed this sentiment before on past episodes, but, you know, in all of this, there's so much that God wants us to get from us being interdependent with one another, you know, not in a negative sense, but he created us to rely on one another. Like, the process of life is not one that you can do alone. In every aspect, you're going to need somebody, whether you're going through the drive-through, whether you're going to the hospital, you're going to have to depend on somebody on this earth who can help you in some regard. Absolutely. And it's no different relationally. There's some people that God has assigned to your life for the purpose of giving you correction, for sharpening you, for making you rethink things. There's not an area of decision making that I'm not running it past this woman, because I trust her judgment so much. Even when sometimes I don't want to hear it, I still go to her. Even if I know she's going to say something I don't want to say, I'm like, but I know it's sound wisdom. And sometimes I hear like, you know what, maybe my way's better. But you think I'm not going to run it across her? And you think if I was wrong, you think I ain't going to hear about it? No, but it's just so valuable. Like, I know for a fact, and I know this because, we engage with y'all, we kick it with y'all, we get DMs all the time, we get people hit us up about what they're going through personally, and it's just so much hurt that people have suffered from people being flawed individuals, and there's no way to escape that, right? As much as I want to love her perfectly, I'm not gonna be able to. As much as I want to love her without flaw, I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to say something I shouldn't say. I'm going to say something in a way that maybe I shouldn't have said it. I'm going to make a decision that maybe wasn't the best decision to make. And in all of that, I'm going to need her to give me grace. I'm going to need to learn from that. And we're going to have to talk about it and come out on the other side better.
I was gonna say right before you said the word, that's another thing that I've learned in this past year is the grace. Jesus, that just because someone does something that hurts you does not mean that was their intention.
Yeah.
And to me, I've learned that intention is everything, right? And when we have those moments where we can sit down and understand each other's heart when our heads are in completely different atmospheres, like I'm hurt and my head is telling me that you did it on purpose. And you're like, I'm just trying to express myself. And your head is telling you, I don't even see how you could even think that I would do that.
Yeah.
But when I listen to your heart, when I allow you the freedom and the space to express what you're saying and what your intention was, and even though it hurt me, I can extend grace to you in that moment and be like, I understand. And it does ease the hurt. It doesn't take it away completely, but it does ease it. And I understand that a lot of my hurt that comes from the way that you use your words is attached to an old feeling, right? If you say something that triggers an old feeling, automatically you're wrong. You intended to say something that took me back to being 8 years old when somebody left or somebody said they was going to do something and they didn't do it.
You're triggered.
And now you're just wrong and I can't forgive you for that.
Yeah.
But when I hear your heart, it gives me the opportunity to, one, reflect on the grace that is given to me each and every day.
Yeah.
And then be able to extend that same grace to you and understand that we are both trying to do the best that we can. Yeah. And we're not always going to get it right. And there should be room to make a mistake and it not be the end of a relationship, the end of the conversation, the end of the decision-making process. When we have disagreements, what it should do is further the communication. Okay, if we don't disagree, we're not talking enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't agree, we're not talking enough. We need to talk until we become on the same page, or we are okay being on opposite pages.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the grace factor for me has helped me because for a lot of divorcees like us, right, and this is a reason why the divorce rates are so higher the second time around. Mm-hmm. The chances that you'll get divorced again when you've already been divorced, the more you get divorced, get higher and higher.
You just like him.
Because it does something in your spirit when you've already settled in your heart that there's a way out. Right?
Absolutely.
When you make the decision, and this is a little bit different in our story because, the first time around, you didn't decide this.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for me, making the decision to me did something to me. It planted something in my spirit that I don't think God intended to be there. And this time I got to wrestle with and pray on and be honest with myself about, because
that back door.
Not even that. Like, to me, we've never had a argument, disagreement where I was like, this ain't gonna work. Like, it's not that. But it always makes me worry about it. It always has this fear in the back of my head. And I would have a hard time with disagreements or like tough conversations. I had a hard time rebounding from it. Like, we had a conversation at 5:00. It's 7:00 now. Let's eat dinner and watch this show we like. But for me, I'm still have this weight on me, and I necessarily didn't know where that was coming from. But hindsight is 20/20. When I look back on it, it's this weight of like, I want this to work. You know what I mean? I care about this. I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. But both of us are in this. You know what I mean? We both have this resolve. Like, we're going to do what we got to do to make this work. But when you got this weight on you and this kind of like spiritual entrapment of like, you know, trying to heal those scars, it can leave this residue of like, you know what I mean? I don't want to happen. I don't want to happen. You know what I mean? So I've had to really break free from that. And that's where grace comes in. That's where grace, you know, really just frees you up from all of that, because it gives you this resolve of like, no, like I have no expectation that our entire relationship is going to be roses and daisies. Like, no, there's going to be difficult moments, but it's the grace that allows you to move forward. Like, it's new for me. I've always been a sensitive kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get mad, I'm gonna be mad. You know what I'm saying? You need to give me a minute. But I'm finding myself more, all right, you know what I mean? Like, give me a couple minutes, give me, you know, an hour or so, and I can shake it off.
You still need to work on that. That's
for sure. No,
that's not true.
I'm better than I used to be. I used to be mad for a week. I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't gonna talk.
I'll be like, all right, okay, let's just talk, because this little attitude you got on is not working for me.
I just need to get it out. Just give me a minute. Still need to work on it, but you know, I'm realizing it now. I'm seeing it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the step that needs to happen before you start to resolve it. But a lot of us don't even see it. We just feel wronged. We feel like the victim, and we sit in that, and we gonna be mad until, you know, the problem's solved in our head. You know what I mean? So
at dinner today, as we wrap this up, I asked you if you could give us a grade in this first year, what would you give us? And you said an A+.
Whoop.
It's totally not the answer I would have gave, but
give me yours. I give us about a D+. I mean, we
strong B.
I mean, we passing, but
we was a strong B, you know. But I want to ask now, if there was one word that could sum up this last year, what would it be?
Give me yours first, since it's your question. I know you thought about it.
I didn't actually think about it. No, but if I
one word to sum up this year,
this first year of marriage, what would it be?
It's a chapter. I have to name the chapter.
Okay, yes, name the chapter in the book.
This is a really deep question that you want me to just. I would name it. Like, I ain't got time to think about it.
I would say progression.
Progression.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 1, progression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way too much
Jeopardy music.
I'm way too much of an artist for this. I'm sitting here like think something deep. Progression. What? Well, tell me why you would say that.
I think I would say progression because I literally see progress. I battled with feeling stuck for a very long time. Stuck in a role. Then I was stuck in this season of just loneliness and isolation. And then I was stuck in this season of I found solace with God and I don't want anything else. And even when you came into my life, I was in that season like, oh, it's me and God and I don't want or need anything else. And anything else that came was a bonus. I wasn't wanting, I wasn't desiring anything else. It was like, no, I'm good right here, just right in this box. But in this year, I've seen myself dream again. I've seen myself fall deeper in love with me and with you and with God. I've seen this relationship grow in ways that I've seen no relationship around me. I've seen progress in my mind. I've seen progress in this podcast, in the fruit that come from this, the fruit that come from my relationship, our children. I've seen my kids grow in leaps and bounds in emotional health.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is a good way to sum it up. It's been a year of progression.
That's good.
You still ain't got nothing, do you?
All right. Solve the time. Just go for it. Just go for it. Chapter 1, grace.
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 Did you already explain why?
Nope.
in your last? Okay, why
Nope.
Grace?
Grace, because I think there's two working thoughts in my head, right? So on one hand, like we just explained, you know what I mean? I think you have to have that in order to grow and to thrive. But I think when I say grace, I'm talking about the grace of God, right?
Mhm.
Like us even being together in this marriage, having a second opportunity at love again in the way that we're experiencing it on this level is only a testament to his grace.
Amen.
On top of the fact that the favor that we experience while on this journey, right? The things that we have placed our hands on that God has just accelerated like a quantum leap, like from here to there, like we're seeing it happen, so fast. It's only because of his grace. So that's why I would say not so much about the grace that we got to show between one another, but this is a testament of his grace, and yeah, that's what I'd say.
Amen.
Progression and grace. Whoop, my book's killing yours.
It's the same book, okay?
Oh, that's the name of the first chapter?
It's the same book.
I'm just messing with
Here we go.
Nah. I'm excited to be back. It feels really good. We missed, I could say I missed potting. Did you miss it?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's such a big part of our lives that you can't not miss it.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
dang it. Just relaxing and not worrying about coming down and finding something intelligent to say. It was a relief. It was a
Nice
weight
little
off my
weight
shoulders.
lifted. It's back on now. I don't know what else to talk about. Yeah, so we're back at it. So excited about the season, though. We're introducing so many more things. We have so many dope people we're going to talk to. So many things we can't wait to bring to you guys. So thank you once again. Spread the word. Let everybody know we bite, man. We bite. And we'll see you next Tuesday, right? No, we'll see you Wednesday. Yes.
Tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, it'll be tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. My day's all messed up. See, I'm a rookie again.
8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely.
Live on Facebook and YouTube. Come join us. Come kick it with the fam. Ask your questions. Tell us how much you missed us. And send us pictures of you and your merch. Or at least your order, because I expect to see many, many orders after this airs.
Yeah, because I ain't going to hold you up. That store expensive. And if you ain't buying nothing, I don't close it down. Paying money to keep a store open, ain't nobody buying from it. Don't make no sense. Like, they don't do that in real life. Just ain't nobody buying that. They're going to close the store down. That's how stores work. So, yeah. Can't wait to kick it with you guys on Wednesday. Bring the live back. And as always, we love.
Y'all should love too.
Peace.